Well, hello, Mark Wilbur. How are you today?
Hello, Justin Vincent. It's going okay. It's
Good.
midnight for me, of course, as usual.
Oh,
How are you doing?
yes. I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling fantastic about earning $1 million in Skyblocks.
In
On Roblox.
Skyblocks,
In Skyblocks, yeah, on Roblox. Roblox.
is is that fungible with U.S. currency at all?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
And the way I did it was, remember I told you that there was other guys in the game who had like 19 million. I was like, how in the heck?
Oh, that was gold. Okay.
Yeah, gold, right? I was like, how in the heck did they do that? Like, I was working my way towards 1 million, and the way I was doing it was by doing massive carrot farms.
hmm
Anyway, I found out the trick: auto clickers.
Oh, they
Yeah, leave
don't
it running all night with an auto clicker. You don't need a big carrot farm. You
they
just
don't ban
one
people for that.
what?
They don't ban you for that. For
Well,
like
they
any
don't
kind of
know that I do
automation.
that. They don't know that I do
Oh
that.
my gosh. Okay.
But basically, I just have one conveyor belt, one little carrot farm, and I leave the auto clicker running all night.
Wow. That
Yeah.
amazes me that works because World of Warcraft was banning people for that in 2005.
Yeah. Anyway, now I've got a
Oh,
million, and I'm going to think I'm going to go to try and get 2 million, and then I'll be done. But in the
sell them on
meantime,
eBay.
the island, because I know, sorry, we're just getting straight into this, but we'll
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just finish this up. The island looks like a giant higgledy piggledy mess. I mean, because Jack, my 5-year-old, basically every time we play the game, I give him permission to build on my island, and he just builds. I mean, it's just crazy.
Just whatever he feels like,
it's like
wherever.
something out of Dr. Zeus. It really is. It's like, with those tall, kind of crazy towers going up and like weird things
Cool.
going to the side. So, yeah. Anyway, that's.
Okay. So lots of gaming again this week.
I'm trying not to do the gaming.
Yeah. Well, I get it. They're addictive by design,
Yep, that's it.
and
How about you?
also good way of learning stuff. Let's see. I have made really good progress on the Reactor site. It's basically done. It's like 99% there. Just gotta deploy it, and I keep tweaking with a few things, but
What?
yeah.
That is your equivalent of getting to 1 million gold.
Maybe, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like been it's
Actually,
been a real.
it's especially good for me because I have not been making that many screencasts in a while,
Oh,
and this is the fuel for the screencast series I'm finishing up. So
okay.
I think I've got maybe 2, 3 videos worth out of it.
Wow,
So
sweet.
that's yeah, that's one thing. Let's see. Health side, I cited last time. I'm not focusing on days of running or exercise because I've pretty much made that a habit. I'm just focusing on eliminating junk food 6 days out of 7. And I made it like 4 days out of 7.
Hmm.
So have to keep working at that one. Then other than that, let's see. I didn't do anything on Phoenix Igniter, although I feel some pressure to do that as well because it's been a while.
Yeah.
I took a bunch of stuff out of it for the Reactor website. So in other words, like if I had Phoenix Igniter when we started this, I probably could have built the site like 3 times as fast. So um, yeah, and then contracting stuff and related contracting. I've been reading up on Swagger Open API. I used that a bit like 5 or 6 years ago, but the tooling has grown a lot, and I mostly have used RAML, which is a different competing API documentation specification. I like it a bit more because it's got less repetition than Swagger does, but Swagger slash API has been around forever, and it's super
Mm.
popular and entrenched, and there are tools to do like almost everything on it.
Hmm. Okay.
But that's related to the contract. So I've been kind of reacquainting myself with that,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's the basic update.
I've been working on that boot camp. I am. I'm actually ahead of where I was the last time we spoke. So the last time we
That's
spoke,
good.
the last time we spoke, I think I'd got to the point where I was. Was I on the screen? Market. You
I don't
probably
think
can't
so.
remember.
No.
Was I on product? Make something people want.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay,
what you're
yeah.
doing.
So yeah, I haven't made any progress on make something people want, other than just really think about it a lot and realize how really difficult a lesson it is. Because there's so many aspects, there's so much
Mm-hmm.
nuance. Like, part of the thing is, what's your context? Like,
Right.
do you have an audience? You know what I'm saying? Like, or do you have no audience? Like, do you have an idea? So it's like there's all these different starting points. And just sort of say, just have one version is a bit weird. So I'm not quite sure how to do that lesson without making it its own book.
Mm.
But I completed one other lesson, which was how to pick a good starting price point, which is cool.
Okay.
And so really I've got 3 lessons to finish, including that one. So I'm getting sort of edging towards the end. So something else interesting happened. I started working with a guy who builds a site called isitketo.org.
Okay. I can
Did I tell you
imagine
about
what
that?
that's like. No, you
MG
didn't.
Lynch is his name, and he's got a blog, a very cool blog, and I really liked his blog. And he's being super transparent about how he's being a founder. And I
Mm-hmm.
reached out to him and I just said, "Hey, dude, this is awesome," And in his transparency blog post, he said I could see that he was kind of struggling about making something people want, getting to that point where
Mm-hmm.
something could make revenue. So I was just like, if you ever want to brainstorm about that, give me a shout. So
That
anyway,
seems like something where he could get a lot of traffic really easily compared to revenue.
he has 10,000 uniques a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, they're just sort of determining, is it so he's got this amazing niche traffic, like really targeted
Mm-hmm.
traffic. So I'm just helping him to turn that into to turn that traffic into a paid product and find out something people want. And he blogged about it, about the experience. So I guess I'm a little bit part of that journey. And from that blog, because I think he has a popular blog, I guess I got 3 more signups to the Startup Academy,
Oh, nice.
which I wasn't
So
expecting.
okay. So
That's not why I did it.
I have a comment and then a question back
Yeah.
on Nugget. Comment is like, out of all of my personal friends, like the one who's been the most successful indie hacker, although they weren't called that back then, is a good buddy of mine that I met when I was living in Beijing. And he was running a nutrition website. And he was only earning like $500 a month from it because he was, and it was like not enough to survive in San Francisco. So he moved out to China, partially to learn Chinese, but also partially just to decrease his burn rate. And he basically he scraped US RDA, like official data, and he made web pages for like every single thing that your body might need. Like there's one for zinc, there's one for B6, one for B12. And then he also was writing his own content and thoughts about it, just gradually writing out more and more and more. And I saw him basically go from maybe about the traffic you're talking about that the Is It Keto person has,
Mm-hmm.
up to like 1.5 million uniques a month. And he was
Mm-hmm.
making like over 10K a month off of Google AdSense, and then started optimizing the ads, and then switched from AdSense to DFP, like direct from publisher, which is also through Google, but a little bit more work and more pay. And it's like, got well over 50K a month just within like 3 years. And I think it was because it was just such this broad base of traffic. Like once you have that many people, you can figure out something to advertise or affiliate or sell them directly.
It's a really interesting point, because the thing is, it's funny. I sort of think that someone should start up an incubator. And what the incubator does is it buys sites that have a lot of traffic, like the Is It Keto type of thing. And because so many guys do that, and girls, but build sites, get traffic, get AdSense traffic, and they're pulling in like 300 a month, 500 a month, something like that. But that traffic, if you actually build something for that traffic, the amount of value you can extract from that is like exponential compared to what you might get from AdSense if it's targeted traffic like that.
Yeah. Have you heard of Nathan Latka? Wrote a book. He's kind of like the younger Tim Ferriss, like the new Tim Ferriss.
No, I
His
haven't
book
heard
was
that.
like how to be a venture capitalist if you don't have any capital.
No.
But
Okay. Yeah.
one of the things he wrote about doing in his book was buying free Chrome extensions. So he looked for Chrome extensions that had a certain amount of traffic.
Yeah.
And it used to be, because nobody else was doing it, it used to be super cheap to buy one that was not making any money, because the
Yeah.
person's like, well, these people are using it. I could use $1,000 or a couple $1,000, and then he would just make a premium version of it, or do something like that. Yeah.
I just think people don't understand. Maybe in the same way it's difficult to understand the exponential. I think people, and I didn't understand it until now. Like, it's taken a long time to truly appreciate the value of traffic. So there's a lot of I've even recently seen blog posts. People talk about, oh well, having a lot of traffic doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything unless you can, like, unless you're actually selling something. Just because you have a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you can work with traffic. Like, it's like it's like a clay.
It's a resource.
Yeah, it's a resource that you can work with, and you can sort of find out, how do you get into that? What's your way into that traffic to understand and to really make something amazing for them and extract value.
Yeah. So back to the Nugget bootcamp, or I guess Nugget in general.
Yeah.
Like, how many people going into it already have an idea they want to do?
Yeah, I mean, like a few people do have an idea. I mean, like you had an idea. I think,
Yeah.
like, how has Nugget helped you?
The biggest thing by far is still that point that I mentioned that was really early in it, where it said to, like, analyze the things that have worked well for me in the past. And, I looked back through, my whole life basically, and found a few like times where I was really doing well. And I identified two common traits between all of those times. And this would be like when I was doing math as a college student, when I was really young, and when I was running my English teaching school in Taiwan, and like just various things that I had done that, I was really proud of. And in every case, the two commonalities were, one, there was something external about it that was forcing me on a schedule. And two, there was something about it that I thought was impressive or cool. Like, like starting a business in Taiwan where I have to speak Chinese to deal with all the customers or customers' parents. Like that was, that was a pretty neat thing to me. That was motivating. Whereas if I had been just, grabbing some low-hanging opportunity, maybe that would be great for other people, but I would have gotten bored.
You've just pinpointed, like, the number one reason why founders fail. They don't fail, they just stop. And essentially, you found a way to not stop. So you found some kind of ratchet that just kept you going, keeps you going, keeps you interested, keeps you moving.
Like the micro term, like the short term, what helped was I know there's going to be, classes 6 days a week next week, and there will be every week, and I need to keep making curriculum for them, and I also need to be, like, ready to do the classes, and I also need to be, out there, like, selling to prospective customers who want their children to study there. So those things forced me on like a very tight loop of productivity in the short term, and then long term, I was really happy with how it was going, and I felt like it was achieving a difficult thing. In fact, like, there were a lot of, that's part of why I like listening to Texting so much, because of you guys talking about Catalyst and then Math Academy.
Yeah.
So,
well,
so yeah. So
to go back to just sort of the reason why I was asking that is, I think the thing, whether you come in with an idea or without an idea, ultimately, right now, the true value that I think Nugget gives you is that this idea of you don't know what you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know as a new indie founder, and you kind of have to spend 10 years learning what you don't know if you don't see someone, if you don't learn it from somewhere else. So Nugget is not like an MBA where it's teaching you sort of theoretical type of stuff about markets and the way markets move and stuff like that. But it's slightly like that in the sense that it is teaching you what you don't know. So
Yeah.
it's giving you this like broad understanding of knowledge that then when you do go to do something, you're not going to make a 10-year mistake. You're not going to make a 5-year mistake, or you're much less likely because you've seen so many examples of those mistakes throughout the whole of the training of Nugget.
Yeah. The other thing I thought maybe my second most favorite part in it was the part where you just went over all kinds of different business models and ranked them just, in terms of what you thought the scalability was and the difficulty.
Yeah.
And also like how suitable you thought it was, and like the one that I'm doing now, I think you ranked as like okay or decent, but not like the ideal thing.
Well, it does so completely depend on your founder context. So it just depends on your background, like everything. Yeah. So, so task flow, the reason why task flow is so right for me is because of all the things that fit me. Like I really get jazzed about working with a group of people and building software for them and sort of, helping them sort of achieve their goals through the software. That's why Plugio really worked out. That's why Light was such a bad thing for me, because there was no, there was no customer. There was a customer. So Light was a mobile delivery app. There was kind of no customer. It was just all me making up my own decisions about whether this was good. And it looked good and it worked and it sold. But there was so many reasons why that was a terrible idea for me. But, so I guess, so just to go back to your point, people come in with ideas, people don't come in with ideas. A lot of people do come in with an idea, but then there's that whole stage 2 where you generate a list of 100 ideas.
Right.
Oftentimes they go, oh yeah, my idea is nowhere near as good as this thing.
Yeah. And I just used that stage to come up with Igniter.
Exactly.
The reason I asked about the idea though is I have a few friends that have done 30 by 500, and one that really has not gotten much out of it at all was this German guy I met while I was a digital nomad, and he was working on a task management thing, but he's super into getting things done strategy, and he wanted to make an app around that. And it's kind of like this long running quest of his. He's been, trying things for a few years. He's got an Android app, but nobody's using it really, and he can't really target the keywords he wants to because they're trademarked. And he went through 30 by 500 and was like, all right, I'll do whatever is in this course as long as it's making a getting things done app. So it's not, like I think it's been a little that
difficult. Doesn't fit. Yeah, I don't think that's a natural fit, because the whole point of 30 by 500 is Sales Safari, really. If you could just say it in another way, Sales Safari is what 30 by 500 is. That Nugget is not that. Nugget, that's a component of Nugget. Like it, I think that's an amazing way to find people, to find business. But I don't think it's the only way.
Definitely not. But the thing is, like, not all ideas are good, and I don't know. I don't know about their applicants, but I know you would know about your applicants. There's like, is it a huge number that are just attached to an idea, like good or bad, just whatever they're doing, or
no? There's
a lot that aren't.
I'm going to say it's like 5% of people coming into Nugget are attached to an idea.
That's much less than I thought. Yeah. Okay,
5 to 10%. But that's because I've even to get into Nugget in the first place, you've got to answer a question that says
right
that says you are not I am not attached to an idea.
That's true.
So 5% still get through, like they just basically lie and they are completely attached to an idea. But at least like less of them come in. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So.
But one thing I want to say is the bootcamp, the founder context level up aspect of it, like learning the level ups. deeper than before, I truly understand that that guy that you're talking about right now, it doesn't matter what audience he builds. He needs to level up at building audience. That is the first thing that every indie founder should do. And it's when I think about all the people who are successful, they have done that by accident, not on purpose, not by planning, but they've just done it because they've started a blog or they've built some small useful thing like is it keto? But like the people who get somewhere are the people who basically understand and have some experience at getting people. You've got to get people. Like so that's the reason why his product doesn't go anywhere because he doesn't know how to get people. You know? Because okay, so
Yeah,
he
it's
like
they're weirdly linked though, because like I built a totally new audience for Alchemist Camp, and they're all showing up because of the product.
they are, but you've got you've got you did that well. It was serendipitous, right? So you didn't actually do that by design, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people do that by design. One of the first things that I write in the boot camp is who's the audience. Okay, if you're a first time founder, this will help you. If you're a second time founder, this will help you understand why you succeeded. Because
Okay,
most people
okay.
don't understand why they succeed, including myself. The only reason why I understand why I succeeded is because at this point, there's 6,000 people in Nugget. I've spoken to 200 founders. Like, I have just hyper iterated the learning of understanding, okay, what the fuck is going on here? Like, how does this shit work? You know?
One thing that's I think has helped me quite a bit is I didn't even start this at the very beginning, but maybe about a year ago, I started this habit where anytime I'm trying to Google something about Elixir, which is the topic I'm teaching, if I have problems finding an answer to something, like if I have to Google 3 or 4 times, I have to, dig into some thread on GitHub or a forum or something, I will note that and then later try to write an article on it or make a video on it.
That is fantastic.
Because if it's
That's
hard for
really
me to
good.
find, like that
Yeah.
means the top results are all pretty bad and I can
Yeah.
probably beat them.
That is very, very smart. That is something that, again, that would make a great blog post on your own personal blog.
Oh, like the meta blog post about that strategy. Yeah,
That
that's a
that
good
that
idea.
that would hit, that I believe that could do well on Indie Hackers, on Hacker News, which in turn could get you more traffic about what everything else you're doing. That is a really good plan.
All right, I'll try to remember that then.
Yeah. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I
speaking of
can't remember the
traffic,
beginning of this discussion, but there was a point we were trying to make, but I don't think we've got there.
no, you were talking about the boot camp, and I just jumped in asking about whether if people were attached because it reminded me of my friend who was stuck on one idea.
So my advice to your friend is, and this is my advice to anyone, is just do something to start building traffic. Just just a basic thing, and it doesn't matter whether that goes nowhere. It doesn't matter whether that turns into a product. Now, obviously, it's much better if it does turn into a product. So if you are, for example, he's building a productivity tool. If he builds traffic for people into productivity and he signs up to Reddit productivity and sees what they're talking about and sees the pain points they're talking about and writes some amazing blog posts about that and then submits them to Reddit and to Hacker News, that's fantastic traffic for him to build. And then he gets those people on an emailing list. And then once they're on an emailing list, then he can start telling them about his product. And then he can get them into a Slack group. And then he can start saying, what do you want? And then he can start mocking up a product. And then he can start building a product for them. That's how it's done. I've lost you. Audio. I've lost your audio.
Oh shoot, that was me. I muted myself because I was
Yeah.
typing something. My
Yeah.
bad.
Sure.
I think that's a much better strategy than what he's doing. And kind of related. Like I think it seems like it's still kind of underutilized to build email lists for like everyone that's well for every. I mean, for I think a lot of bloggers get it now, but I think everyone who's building on a platform that also gives you traffic, like say you're making an iOS app or an Android app, or you're making a game on Steam, like a surprising number of people that I see, blogging about it or submitting stuff to Reddit or Indie Hackers, they like their whole traffic strategy is like post a few times to Reddit, and hope the Steam store or the App Store gives them all the customers they need.
I have seen multiple very successful founders say the one big mistake that I've made is I didn't start building an emailing list early enough.
Yeah, I totally get that. So speaking of traffic, there is a minor thing that has greatly increased our traffic for this very recording that I shared with you. I wanted to mention on the show itself.
Oh, the Vim one.
The clips, not
Oh,
just
the
Vim,
clips, yeah.
but yeah. So I've been kind of slow to get these podcasts, edited and put out there, but I got faster at it. And one thing I started doing just this last week is taking some of the episodes and then as along with the episode itself, just have a separate playlist of little clips from them. And I did one on how you started task flow, and one on just chatting about Flash games, what you thought about finding users for a new product, and then one really short one on what I thought about MacVim and why I loved using it, and wasn't so good for screencasts. And those little clips have actually pulled in a lot more people. Our channel traffic on YouTube is triple what it was.
Really?
2 weeks.
I mean, maybe we should just
ago.
have our conversations and then only do clips.
Well, the clips, no, I think the clips are definitely good because the clips all link to the main one.
Okay.
So it's like, here's a clip of Justin talking about task flow from episode 3 or episode 2 or whatever. And most people just watch the clip, but some click through that and then watch the episode for 20 minutes. And YouTube loves that. YouTube's like, the watch time on people who watch this clip is really high.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's our numbers?
We now have 14 subscribers.
Whoa.
And the more interesting part is we have 13 hours of watch time in the last week.
Of Reactor?
Yeah. People have spent 13 hours watching it on YouTube. And that's definitely going to be lower than, people listening on their iPhones or whatever.
No, I mean 13 hours to me is like mind-blowing.
Because they're sitting and watching. They're not like exercising or walking in the park.
It's not about it. It's just like that anyone's actually watching. I mean, that to me is
there are people watching it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I repeat. If you want us to have intro music, if I get 10 email addresses, 10 emails sent
right.
to jv@vip.ie, I will do an intro.
I haven't published you saying that last week yet. I'm still a couple weeks behind, but
I know that's fine. But
the word will get out.
I'm just reiterating it.
The word will get out.
You're not allowed to tell anyone.
No, I won't.
From me. It has to be actual organic people watching.
Exactly.
That'll be the day. And then I will believe that maybe we'll be able to grow an audience.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, this isn't optimized for an audience, but you know what I think will do it more than anything else. Or like we could spend a ton of time optimizing like show titles and what we talk about and getting guests, like interviewing people, because then you get some of their audience. But I think what would do it more than anything is if task flow you just knock it out of the park and you get your Tesla Cybertruck, and then people are like, this is how that thing started. Or I blow up Phoenix Igniter, or both. Preferably both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you think, I think Phoenix Igniter already is good. But the very fact that Phoenix Igniter came out of Nugget, that's a big deal. That's important. Because Phoenix Igniter, I really think has a huge potential.
So, because I went into Nugget with my idea I was already doing, but it only required, part-time, and I was definitely up for more things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Health, for me, it's just been fine. I've just been sort of in range. It hasn't been too bad because obviously getting the alcohol out, that's been good. You know, it hasn't been phenomenal. My weight is still around about 215, 216 pounds. So that's sort of where I'm staying at. Um, Lots of gaming with the kid.
Lots of gaming.
You know, and day job, you know, a lot of day job stuff. Just the usual. I guess one thing we should probably talk about
Do you
is
do anything on task flow?
nothing on task flow.
Nothing on task
I'm
flow.
not going to do task flow until I've got the boot camp out. The only problem is I have a horrible suspicion that once the boot camp gets out, a lot of people might sign up to Nugget, and then that might take my
And then you'll be wanting to go back to task flow, but you'll have
and I'll
all
be
these
wanting to
new
go back to
people.
task flow, but I'll be needing to work with people.
Yeah.
I do have a sort of a burgeoning idea in my mind about creating something along the lines of what's the best way of saying this? Like an accelerator, but you don't get any investment, but you do get help, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. So basically, my sort of working idea about this is Nugget. My working title is Nugget Octane.
Okay.
That's my sort of what I'm thinking in my mind.
That sounds like a Nugget group.
The reason the reason why I'm thinking about it is there's these two founders that I'm working with, and they both come from positions of knowing how to build an audience very well, and I'm finding it rewarding working, you know, just intrinsically rewarding working with them, getting them to a point of like, you know, decent validation and revenue and profit. And so I would be happy to lead a group of like 10 people like that, do like a weekly check-in and just sort of help them be successful, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because it's frustrating getting people from zero to something if they don't know how to build an audience. That's really difficult.
That's still actually one of the harder things for me. Like, I am growing an audience, but it's very linear, and I mean, I have ideas, but I haven't found a sustainable way to accelerate that.
Well, dude, you've got the raw material right there. I mean, all you got to do is start a blog. Like you have thought-provoking, interesting blog pieces. I mean, if you just watch all the shows, there's been at least 5 really interesting, thought-provoking things that you've said, and I've said, dude, that should be a blog.
You do say that, yeah. Okay.
You know, I mean, that's because remember when in texting.
Although I guess I'm thinking, okay, so here's the thing. Like, I'm thinking in terms of audience of people who care about my current products, as opposed to people who would be interested in some thought-provoking idea.
Well, there's some crossover because all your thought-provoking ideas are kind of would work very well on Hacker News, and the Hacker News people would then, you know, some section of them would be interested in what you're doing.
Check out my profile.
But you're right. I mean, it's the same deal. I mean, just do. Remember when I was talking about building the market for Elixir?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, if you created a blog and you were like, you know, the Elixir guy, and you write really thought-provoking content about that, that's kind of the same thing, but with a much more targeted.
Like if it's a thought-provoking blog that gets a broader audience, but I also talk about using Elixir to do things sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, you could also say like how I made money through building this Elixir product.
Yeah,
you know, there's many different.
although the last thing I want to do is tell Hacker News, hey, or tell indie hackers like, hey, you can make money teaching Elixir.
Yeah, that's true.
I've already seen like 3 would-be competitors pop up on indie hackers over the last year and a half. They've all quit, so like it's not too bad. But
I think the kind of thing that would go down really well on a blog like that is like really helping people understand the use cases for Elixir. What kind of apps, like sort of diving deep. You know, I looked at this app made by these people, and they use Elixir, and this is why it rocks for them. You know,
my headache now is I'm getting all this traffic. Some because of what I've been doing with this last series, and some just because people are curious. that's about Phoenix Live View. So there are all these people that I've started just getting random emails from people about Phoenix Live View. My site traffic's way up, but some of the most trafficked pages are this new series on Phoenix Live View.
Okay.
They're like, hey, I'm thinking about like using this for an educational platform or for, you know, an e-commerce site or this or that. And it's not 1.0 yet, and they're breaking changes in the API constantly.
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect because you know, as Jason always says, like if you're the one who leads the charge of a new product, that's just a great thing, a great position to be in. But it's a pain
There's
in the
a lot
ass.
of there's a lot of excitement, and
Yeah.
it's, at least I don't think it's the best choice to be using in production right now.
How long till it gets to production?
I don't know. I think maybe 6 months. I don't know. It's been
6 months.
like people have been talking about it a ton in Elixir forums, and
Wow.
like the guy who made Phoenix has been, or actually the person who made the Elixir language has been talking about it a lot for like I think a year and a half.
But isn't
now.
that isn't that exactly?
I jumped in kind of late, and it's still like breaking and changing.
But that could be the perfect audience building opportunity for you if you had like some kind of blog slash just even a landing page about live view, build a mailing list about live view. Like it's sort of like Bitcoin. It's
But
sort
I
of
mean,
like
my main site's kind of like that already.
it is already.
Well, because they're signing up for learning Elixir and Phoenix, and they're all asking me about Phoenix Live View. So,
Oh yeah. So
yeah, it's
how many are you
it's like-
getting on the mailing list now? How many do you have on the mailing list?
it's
Like what sort of subscriber rate are you getting?
the rate? It's about 100 a month,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah, just about 100, and in total, maybe 2,600.
So 3 a day.
Yeah, about that. It's pretty erratic though.
Do you think there's anything you could do to get that to 6 a day?
I'm sure there's something. I don't know what there is though. Like I've got like a free intro email course for people to go through my type form and sign up for my email that way, and that increased the rate a little bit. Increased it like 15% over what
That's
it was.
the intro form. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got that from Brennan Dunn. His ConvertKit class taught how to do that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like getting a bigger top of the funnel, like maybe focusing more on that not so technical blog like you were talking about with the interesting ideas that I
Do you
submit
have
to
a
Hacker
blog?
News.
Does it have a blog, that site?
That site. Well, I mean, depends on what you mean by blog. Like I've got if you go to alchemist.camp/episodes, it's all screencasts.
Okay.
If you go to alchemist.camp/articles, then it's all just written content with no screencast. Although those articles are all tutorials. They aren't like why
okay, they're
you
not
should
like
do
thought
X.
pieces or something like that.
They're not
Yeah.
thought pieces. The thought pieces are what my solo podcasts are about, like the monologues, like the code and bootstrapping thing where I talk about automation in one of them, where I talk about different topics. And that stuff definitely has opened the top of the funnel a bit. And even though they hate audio, I have gotten some votes on Hacker News with those.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not front and center on the site though. Like that's basically just for sharing on Hacker News and getting SEO traffic. And those like solo podcasts with the transcripts only link to the rest of the site. The rest of the site does not link to them.
Okay. Yeah, well, you've got to, you kind of know what to do.
I'll keep noodling at it.
Just keep like hacking on it, like iterating.
Gotta publish more. Gotta increase my production rate. So
that sounded funny.
It
sounded like almost I don't know. It's just funny.
Well, on a related note, I've got some stuff I want to share my screen for.
Okay.
So, can you see?
Your channel got 150 views in the last 28 days.
Well, that one's our channel.
Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it is. and notice like this is when I started putting the clips out. It's just this dramatic difference.
Wow.
And I think if I put out clips like 3 times a week instead of
I
once a
see
week, it would
episode
be even
11
more.
down there. I just want to note
Yeah.
that that is a terrible camera angle for my face.
Yes. Well,
I will not use that camera angle moving forward.
it was worse in episode 1. So.
Oh, episode 1 was the
Yeah,
worst.
episode 1, it seemed like you were just this giant towering over me, but that's fine. We can put up thumbnails for any of these.
Sure.
So speaking on the productivity angle, like, what kind of keyboard do you use?
A MacBook Pro keyboard.
Okay. So I have various issues in my my index finger joint and my wrist. It's gotten way better since it was really bad before I started Alchemist Camp.
Yeah.
But I have mostly been using this keyboard.
Oh yeah, I know
Kinesis
those. I've
Advantage
tried
2.
to use them. I've tried.
And I got this one like right a couple months after I started Alchemist Camp, and it definitely helped. It let me basically heal my injuries a little faster. And I've also got this one, Kinesis Freestyle Edge, which is marketed as a gaming keyboard, but it's actually still a pretty ergonomic keyboard because like it doesn't the Kinesis Advantage 2 makes your thumb handle the space, the enter, page up, page down, home, end, backspace, delete. So it's basically your thumb is like a stronger joint than your pinky, so you can offload more work to it. But the Kinesis Freestyle Edge is a more traditional layout, but you've got a whole bunch of macro keys on the left side, and that where you can have like some long command like I don't know, like git reset dash hard head and have just hit one key to do that.
like with the Genius bar, the touch bar.
Yeah.
On the Mac,
Yeah, and it has an escape key. But you can pick any angle you want. You can have your hands like this, or you can have it separated this far. And I've been looking at a newer keyboard. I'm curious if you've even heard of it. The ErgoDox Easy.
Wow.
It's like a combination of the two of these. It's split like the Advantage, and it can be raised like that, like tilted, and it offloads more to the thumb. But every single key on it is programmable, so you can basically map anything to whatever you want, and you can have different kinds of keycaps on each key. Like it's like a kind of like a DIY, any kind of thing you want for ergonomic keyboard users.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been thinking after revenue.
Can you
goes
put
up
your
a
own
bit,
letters on the top then? You just set it the
Sure.
way you want it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been kind of eyeing this thing. Maybe after I get some contracting earnings, I'll be going there.
That is very, very interesting. I would just like to get an N key because my N key has been completely obliterated, so it just looks like a big, like a I don't know, like some hawk has been hacking at it. You can't see any N.
That should be pretty cheap.
you just see like an explosion of and no letter.
The other thing that's been on my mind, speaking of computer hardware, is I have a Mac Mini, the new version that was like a big performance upgrade, but it's only got 256 gigabytes of storage.
That's not.
I was thinking about getting. No, it's not. I was thinking about getting an external hard drive, but I realized these things are so much better than they used to be. Like under $30.
The data throughput, like we used to be terrific, but now it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, under $30, you can get one of these that has like the same storage as the base version of a Mac Mini, or many like I'm pretty sure like MacBook Airs also.
But what USB does a Mac Mini have? What version?
It's pretty good for ports. So it has 4 USB-Cs and 2 USB 3, like old school looking connectors.
Okay, USB 3. Okay, cool. Yeah, because you need the USB 3 to get the throughput. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of painful.
Yeah, well, and the USB-Cs would be even faster. But
okay, yeah.
Like you can
Can you get you?
effective.
But can these little disks speak to USB-C in a way that optimizes them?
Yes,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I may end up disconnecting something important, but let me see here. I have this thing. Basically, you plug the older style accessory in here, and then you can plug the USB-C port into the computer. All right, that's
Ooh,
all. That's all I had to share.
that was good sharing. Good share, son.
All right, let me cancel
Um,
out here.
yeah. So in the Nugget course, the physics of business, then the successful business stack.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know that
You
thing.
like the foundation is customers, then you find out their intent to pay, then you build a product. Well, this has always bugged me because while it's correct information, it's boring as hell. Successful business stack, it's just not interesting. Um, and so something that I did get done, I think, between last episode and this episode is to make this interesting. Did I already? No, I didn't talk to you about this. Okay, cool.
No, you didn't. I've seen
Yeah,
that.
okay.
I've seen that page for sure.
Yeah. So now this is much more interesting. This is um, the profit cake.
Okay, I like it.
And it's delicious profit, so good. And so I've just reworked this to make a lot more sense and be a lot more fun, and also be a meme in its own right, to be kind of more shareable. And it also fit, this idea, like, because in the lesson of the successful business stack, I basically talk about how if it's just you and the product, you're kind of guessing and messing, and if it's the bottom two layers, that's where you're learning and earning. Well, here it makes sense because it's like, the concept of a cake, decorating a cake, you're decorating
Yeah.
this cake, you're putting cream on it, stuff like that. Like, that makes sense. That makes sense with guessing and messing. So overall, and then plug that into a faster way to validate. So the hyper iteration mixed with the profit cake, and then that gives you this. The faster iterations. So find people, talk to people, mock up a product, and sell a product, versus get an idea, build a product, pivot the product, and market the product. Yeah. So profit cake. I was happy with that.
Yeah.
It makes me feel.
I wonder if the main problem is like people just don't want to talk to people, or at
Well, you
least
don't
some
have to
people don't
talk
want
to
to.
people. You don't have to talk to people. You can go on Reddit and just see what people are saying and understand their pain points. But this is exactly what I'm working on right now, is how to make what people want, and it is a
How to
very
get people
difficult.
moving? Yeah.
It's a difficult topic, difficult discussion, to be honest.
Cool. Well, it definitely looks like it has a lot of promise.
Yeah. So, what else?
I think
Anything else?
just goals. Goals.
Well, same goal as last time. Try and get the bootcamp ready for review by this time next week. But I might actually have a chance of making that happen.
All right.
Um,
Let's see. I've got. Do you have any physical goals, like blood sugar range,
just to keep
exercise?
keeping. I've just realized that for this whole episode, I've been wearing these headphones, but they weren't plugged in.
Okay.
um, do I? Sorry, do I have any goals? Yes, blood sugar. Keep the blood sugar within range. That's it.
Like, okay. So not a specific one. I'm gonna repeat my goal of 6 out of 7 days. Actually, I think that might be too hard for me right now. I've got to like build up some small wins. So I'm gonna go for 5 out of 7 days, no junk food, and just continue exercising when I feel like it. Which this week turned out to be 4 days, so it's fine. Um, then aside from that, the main thing is actually going to be get Reactor site launched, and in the process of that, I will have even more content for podcasts. So I mean for screencasts. So I will publish at least one of those as well, although possibly two or three, and keep up with contracting. Then finally, I've been spending more time reading a lot of my tech books that I've bought
Nice.
recently, and I found a new way of doing it. It's been really motivating for me, which is
Okay.
like I've put all my stuff on my Kindle, and I've been reading like the Rust assembly, a WebAssembly book, and like I've got a book on Ecto, which is like the main library for dealing with databases in Elixir, and I've been reading it ahead on my Kindle, and then I sit down on my computer where I've also got the same PDF, and since I've already read it, I've already like skimmed ahead, I can just go through it way faster. I don't know why that is.
Interesting.
But I'm going to keep trying to get through at least one chapter a day.
So skim it and then read it.
I'm actually reading it, but the thing is, like normally I was like reading along with the PDF on the side and then writing code on the other side. And what I was doing sometimes was just kind of like not fully engaging my mind, just like literally copying from one side to the other from the PDF into my code editor without processing it. And then I have to go back to the PDF, and it was slower that way. But if I've already read it once away from the computer, I can go through at the computer, maybe at half my normal reading speed instead of a fifth of my normal reading speed. So,
yeah,
one chapter a day, eat well 5 out of 7 days, and get Reactor launched.
You got this. You got this. Now, yay! You might need to use the audio from the Zoom because I didn't have the headphones plugged in. So I'm picking up your audio.
So I found the Zoom audio is a little bit better sometimes because especially if my air conditioner is on or there's any other sound.
Yeah,
it's got some kind of correction. And you're also louder, like way louder than I am, which I have to adjust manually with our separately recorded audio.
Oh, so do you use the Zoom audio a lot?
The last two I just used the Zoom, and I think they sounded pretty good.
Okay, cool.
I think it's still good that we have the audio
just
our
a
own
backup.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Not just a backup, but also if it were worth the time to run it through like noise removal or remove the noise from my side when I'm not talking and vice versa. It's there, but it doesn't have to be done, and it's probably not worth it. It's just kind of like an insurance policy.
Okay.
It's a hedge. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I think that's the show. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, you as well.
I will see you next week, and yay, go team. And so we had how many lists? We had 15. Was it 15 people? No, wait. Was it?
We have 14 subscribers.
14 subscribers.
But in terms of listens is more than subscribers because some people just find it.
How about our next goal is 20 subscribers?
On YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just want to say, if you are watching this on YouTube, smash that like button. Click that subscribe and the little bell that notifies you. And
smash all the things.
You will be delighted because we will release new things. Thank you. And by the way, when I say that, I'm just copying the videos that my kid watches because he watches so many gamers on YouTube.
There you go. All right. Well, see you next week.
All right, dude.
All right, bye.